Hi, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. I'm going to talk about machine applique, and if you're not sure what it is, here is a sample of it. This is a leaf that I cut out of some fabric and I fused it on to this cream colored background fabric, then did a satin stitch around the edge to cover the raw edges. And then to create the stem, I just did a satin stitch right through the center. Now my inspiration for this leaf came from this fabric here. And I wanted to make a quilt. So this is a wall hanging quilt that I made. In this fabric were two leaf patterns that I really liked. It looked very folksy and not sophisticated. I wanted something that was more country, really, I don't know, homey feeling. So I'm going to show you how you can take fabric that you like and you feel inspired by, but in there the objects are really small. So I'm going to show you how to enlarge them, and you don't even have to know how to draw. So let's get started. I am very drawn to buying large botanical prints because I like to use them in applique projects. I usually will cut out the leaves or the flowers and applique them on because I can't really draw very well. Now I loved this fabric, but the problem is there weren't any large leaves that match this on fabric. So what I did was I took this about 1 inch length leaf and enlarged it to over 4 inches by putting my fabric into my photocopier printer machine, enlarging it 400%. And this is what I came up with, okay? See this? Really, really large. So they went up to over 4 inches. This one's just slightly below 4 inches. And from this, I can create my templates. So let me show you how to create your template. Now here's my cardstock. Now, if you can't find fabric that you like to cut out the leaves from that fabric, or you can't find any you want to enlarge, remember, maybe you've seen a pretty leaf in a book or in a magazine, or you have a leaf from your own tree. You can take that leaf, trace around it, and create your own template. You don't need to be a beautiful artist, although there's nothing wrong with freehand drawing leaves either, but my leaves always look a little weird when I try to draw them. So this is what I do. So trace it onto your cardstock, just like I did there. And then from that, and go ahead and cut it out, and you're gonna wind up with templates that look like this, okay? There you go. Now, this is my fusible web, and it comes in sheets. Oh, I guess they're about 8 by 10, something like that, 8 by 11. And my particular fusible web has 2 thin layers of paper, or 2 pieces of paper, and in between it is a really thin layer of glue. Now, some of the fusible web that you buy, both sheets of paper are plain. If that's your case, you need to read the instructions on your package to determine which side to draw on or to trace your leaf pattern on. Mine says to do it on this blue grid line side. So just take your templates and begin tracing however many number of leaves you need to make. Then you're going to cut them out. When you cut them out, make sure you leave about 1/4 of an inch of fusible webbing paper around it, okay? Because you need to have that little extra edge on there before you can put it on your fabric. Now, here's my fabric. You do not want to put it on the front side. This is the front side of my fabric. You need to turn it over and place it on the back side. But before you place it down, you need to remove the paper on the back. And again, read the instructions on your package to make sure you remove the correct side. So if you're having trouble getting the back off, take a straight pin and just score it, okay? And then bend it a little bit so that a corner pops up. And then slowly remove this paper off. Make sure you're not removing the glue. And then turn it over and place the tacky side down on the back side of your fabric. Then you want to go ahead and cut it out. And I usually use small scissors and cut right on your drawn lines, okay? So now you have this. Now your paper is still on the back. Now you want to take your background fabric and you're going to place it on the front side of your background fabric. Now, you first got to remove the paper on the back. If you're having problems getting it to lift off, then again, score it with a straight pin, bend it a little bit so that that corner comes up. And as you lift this paper off, make sure the glue is on the fabric. Now, don't finger press it down right away. Just place it where you think you want it. If you don't like how it's placed, you want to move it a little bit, it can still easily lift up and replace it somewhere else. Once you have it where you like it, then finger press it, okay? Now you need to take a damp cloth, read the instructions on your package for permanently fusing it on your background fabric. Mine says to use a damp cloth and a hot iron with steam, and you're going to place it down. Now, right now I'm on my cutting mat. Never do this on your cutting mat. Do it on your ironing board. This is just for demonstration. My iron is not hot. But at your ironing board, use a hot iron. Read your instructions to find out how many seconds you need to leave it there. It's usually going to be somewhere between 10 and 15 seconds. You hold it down. Then you're going to remove the cloth, and now it is permanently fused on. So let me go over some ideas for decorative stitching. When making my quilt, I wanted to make sure that my inspiration fabric, the colors in it, were represented in the applique pattern. So I have kind of a yellowish gold. Around the edge, I used orange, which I pulled out of this fabric, and I used a small satin stitch. You could use a medium satin stitch, and all computerized sewing machines have a satin stitch on it. For the stem, I pulled the chocolate brown out of the stem in the fabric and used it in the stem here. And again, I used just a small zigzag stitch. Now, when you're a beginner at this and you're just practicing right now, I recommend you just use a polyester thread. There you go, your standard polyester thread. For now. Now there's a lot of opinions out there on what thread you should use for applique, but if you're new and you're just getting started, don't spend a lot of money on a really high-end threads. Wait till you learn to like what you're doing. Here is a sample. So your polyester thread has a shine to it, but your polyester embroidery thread also has a very brilliant shine to it. So it's a lot more noticeable. Here is the other leaf that I chose. Now this one took a little more time to stitch around it. So again, I used orange on the outer edge, and then I used the chocolate brown for the stem. When you're doing your applique stitching, you will have an easier time if you have an open toe presser foot, and these are easy to get. If you don't have one, you can go to your local sewing machine supply store. You can even go on the internet. You can get them off of Amazon. They're very affordable. They're not very expensive at all. So you keep the center of the foot over the area you want to stitch and go straight down. So when you're doing the edge over here, keep the center there, and the satin stitch will go on both the applique fabric and your background fabric. So as you're looking at this, you can see that the colors of your thread on your applique pieces play an important role in pulling your whole project together. Before going to your sewing machine, you want to take either your thin fabric or tearaway stabilizer and place it behind your background fabric. If you're going to start doing machine applique, I recommend you just practice on scrap fabric for a while. Then make a small project like these pot holders. Now, leaves aren't the only things you can do. You can cut flowers out of fabric and also applique them on. Here's a rooster that I cut out. Now, if you want to learn how to make designs and learn easy ways to draw them, here is a shamrock. You'll be surprised how easy this is to draw. Here is a simple butterfly. But if you want to learn a lot more about machine applique and learn all of the different stitches and different ways to use them, I recommend you watch my video, Machine Applique Lesson 1, and the link is listed below your YouTube screen. I hope you enjoyed this video. I think you're going to really enjoy machine applique. It really is a lot of fun and it's not that difficult. Now, thanks for watching and happy sewing, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click on the thumbs up button and don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, click on that red subscribe button down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Click on the bell so you can receive notifications about my latest videos. I'm Cheryl, and this is Scotty, and this is Manny. See you next time, and happy sewing!